What if I told you that the difference between where you are right now and where you want to be isn't talent, luck, or connections? What if it's something so simple, so available to every single person watching this, that you'd almost laugh at how obvious it is? The truth is, while you're hitting snooze, someone else is already winning. And by the time you wake up, they've already built an empire in the hours you gave away. This is about the 5 a.m. rule, and it's not what you think. Stay with me, because what I'm about to share will either change everything or prove that you're not ready yet. Right now, you're probably wondering if this is just another video about waking up early. You're thinking you've heard it all before. But here's the thing, most people who talk about this don't tell you the real secret. They don't tell you why it works. They don't tell you what actually happens in those quiet hours before the world wakes up. And they definitely don't tell you the one thing that separates the person who tries it for a week from the person who builds a fortune with it. Before we go deeper, if you're serious about changing your life, hit that like button right now. Not later, right now. Because that small action is the first test of whether you're really ready to commit or if you're just here to watch and forget. And subscribe, because I'm going to keep showing up for you, but you've got to show up for yourself too. Let me ask you something. When was the last time you had real silence? Not the kind where you're scrolling on your phone or half listening to a podcast. I mean true, deep, undisturbed silence where it's just you and your thoughts. For most people, the answer is never. And that's the problem. See, the 5 a.m. rule isn't about productivity hacks or cramming more tasks into your day. It's about reclaiming yourself. It's about creating space where the noise of the world can't reach you, where nobody needs you, where the phone isn't ringing, and where you can finally hear the voice inside that's been trying to tell you what you're meant to do. That's what the millionaires figured out. They didn't wake up at 5 a.m. to work harder. They woke up at 5 a.m. to become someone different. You see, most people live their entire lives reacting. They wake up to an alarm that already feels like an attack. They check their phone, and suddenly they're responding to someone else's agenda. They go through the day being pulled in every direction, answering emails, putting out fires, doing what everyone else needs them to do. And by the time they get home, they're exhausted. They tell themselves they'll start tomorrow. They'll work on that dream tomorrow. They'll become that person tomorrow. But tomorrow never comes because they never create the space for it. The 5 a.m. rule breaks that cycle. It puts you in control before the world tries to control you. Now here's where it gets real. The first week of waking up at 5 a.m. will feel like punishment. Your body will hate you. Your mind will tell you it's stupid. You'll wonder why you're doing this when you could be sleeping. And honestly, most people quit right here. They try it for 3 days, feel terrible, and go back to their old routine. But the ones who push through, the ones who make it to week 2, week 3, they start to notice something. A shift, a clarity, a version of themselves they forgot existed. They start to realize that they're not just waking up early, they're waking up to their life. And that's when everything changes. Let me tell you what happens in those early morning hours. You're not just working, you're not just grinding, you're thinking, you're planning, you're visualizing the life you want so clearly that it starts to feel real. You're building belief in yourself because you're proving that you can do hard things. Every single morning you get up when your body wants to quit, you're sending a message to your subconscious that you're serious, that you're not the same person you were yesterday. And over time, that message becomes your identity. You become the person who does what they say they're going to do. You become the person who doesn't need external motivation because you've built an internal fire that nobody can put out. But here's the catch, and this is what nobody talks about. The 5 a.m. rule only works if you use those hours for the right thing. If you wake up at 5 a.m. and scroll through social media, you've wasted it. If you wake up at 5 a.m. and just do busy work, you've missed the point. Those hours are sacred. They're for the things that matter most. The business you've been too scared to start. The book you've been too busy to write. The skills you've been too tired to learn. The vision you've been too distracted to build. This is your time to invest in the future version of yourself. This is where millionaires are made, not because they work more hours, but because they work on the right things when their mind is sharpest and their spirit is strongest. And right now, I need you to do something. I need you to stop and think about what you would do with those hours. If you had 2 hours every single morning where nobody could bother you, where you had complete focus and energy, what would you build? What would you create? Who would you become? Drop it in the comments right now. Tell me what your 5 a.m. would look like. Because when you write it down, when you put it out there, you're making a commitment. You're telling the universe and yourself that you're ready. And if you know someone who needs to hear this, someone who's been stuck, someone who's been waiting for a sign, share this video with them right now. Don't wait. They need this today. Let's talk about fear for a second. Because that's really what's stopping you, isn't it? It's not that you can't wake up early, it's that you're afraid. You're afraid that you'll try and fail. You're afraid that you'll put in the work and nothing will change. You're afraid that maybe you're not capable of being that person. And I get it. That fear is real. But here's the truth that fear doesn't want you to know. Every single millionaire, every single successful person you admire, they felt that same fear. They just decided to move forward anyway. They decided that the pain of staying the same was worse than the pain of change. And that's the decision you have to make right now. Are you going to let fear keep you in bed? Or are you going to prove to yourself that you're stronger than you think? The 5 a.m. rule isn't just about time management. It's about identity. It's about becoming the kind of person who wins before breakfast. It's about building momentum that carries you through the entire day. When you start your morning with victory, everything else feels easier. When you've already conquered yourself, the challenges of the day don't seem so big. You walk into meetings with confidence. You handle problems with clarity. You show up differently because you are different. People can feel it. Opportunities start showing up because you're operating on a different frequency. You're no longer the person waiting for life to happen. You're the person making it happen. And here's something powerful that happens when you commit to this. You start to see who you really are, without all the distractions, without all the excuses, without all the noise. You meet yourself. And sometimes that's uncomfortable. Sometimes you realize you've been lying to yourself about what you want. Sometimes you realize you've been playing small because it felt safe. But that discomfort is where growth lives. That's where transformation happens. The millionaires who built their empires at 5 a.m. didn't just build businesses. They built themselves first. They became the person capable of holding that success. They did the internal work that most people avoid, and that's why they won. Now you might be thinking, okay, I get it, but I'm not a morning person. I've tried this before and it didn't work. My body doesn't function that early. Let me stop you right there. That's not your body talking. That's your fear dressed up as an excuse. Your body is capable of anything you train it to do. The reason it didn't work before is because you didn't give it enough time. You didn't commit fully. You didn't protect those morning hours like they were the most valuable thing in your life. Because here's the reality. They are. Those hours are literally your future. And if you're not willing to sacrifice a little sleep for your dreams, then maybe you don't want them as badly as you say you do. And that's okay. But be honest with yourself about it. If you're still here, if you're still watching, that means something. That means part of you knows this is what you need. That means you're ready to stop talking and start doing. So here's what I want you to do. I want you to commit right now. Not tomorrow, not next Monday. Right now. Set your alarm for 5 a.m. And when it goes off, I want you to remember this moment. I want you to remember why you're doing this. Write down your biggest goal and put it next to your bed so it's the first thing you see. Make it impossible to forget what you're fighting for. And when your alarm goes off and every part of you wants to quit, I want you to count backwards from 5. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And at 1, you move. You don't think. You don't negotiate. You move. Because that's what winners do. They don't wait until they feel like it. They act in spite of how they feel. Let me tell you what's going to happen over the next 30 days if you do this. The first week, you're going to be tired. You're going to question everything. You're going to want to quit, push through. The second week, something shifts. You start to feel a little bit of pride. You start to notice you're getting things done. You start to feel different. The third week, it becomes part of you. You start to crave those morning hours. You start to feel off if you miss them. And by the fourth week, you're a different person. You've built a habit that most people will never have the courage to build. You've proven to yourself that you can change. And once you prove that to yourself, there's nothing you can't do. But here's the thing that most people miss. The 5 a.m. rule isn't the end. It's the beginning. It's the foundation. Once you master your mornings, once you prove you can control the start of your day, everything else becomes possible. You start to believe you can build that business. You start to believe you can write that book. You start to believe you can create the life you've always wanted, because you've already done the hardest thing. You've already beaten the version of yourself that wanted to stay comfortable. And if you can do that, you can do anything. Right now, I want you to think about where you'll be a year from now if you start this today. 365 mornings of focused, intentional work on yourself and your dreams. 365 days of becoming stronger, sharper, more capable. Do you realize how much you could build in that time? Do you realize who you could become? The millionaires in America didn't get there by accident. They got there by doing what everyone else refused to do. They got there by waking up when everyone else was sleeping. They got there by using the hours that everyone else wasted. And now it's your turn. I need you to understand something. This video found you for a reason. You didn't click on this by accident. Something inside you is ready for more. Something inside you knows you're capable of greater things. And that voice, that whisper, that's the real you trying to break through. The 5 a.m. rule is how you give that voice power. It's how you turn that whisper into a roar. It's how you stop being a person with potential and start being a person with results. So don't scroll away. Don't let this be another video you watch and forget. Let this be the moment everything changed. And if you need one more push, if you need one more reason to commit, here it is. Every day you wait is a day you're giving to someone else. Every morning you sleep in is a morning your competition is getting ahead. Every hour you waste is an hour you'll never get back. Time doesn't care about your excuses. It doesn't care about your fear. It just keeps moving. And the question is, are you moving with it or are you being left behind? The millionaires made their choice. They chose to move. They chose to sacrifice. They chose to become uncomfortable so they could become unstoppable. Now it's your turn to choose. Let me share something with you that changed everything for me. There was a moment when I realized that my life would never change unless I changed, that my circumstances would never improve unless I improved, that my bank account would never grow unless I grew. And the only way to grow was to create the space for it. The only way to become more was to give myself the time and energy to do more. And that's what the 5 a.m. rule gave me. It gave me myself back. It gave me the power to create instead of just consume. It gave me the opportunity to build instead of just dream. And once I had that, everything else fell into place. You know what's interesting? Most people spend more time planning their vacation than they spend planning their life. They'll research hotels and restaurants for hours, but they won't spend 5 minutes thinking about where they want to be in 5 years. They'll binge watch an entire season of a show in one weekend, but they won't invest an hour a day in learning the skills that could change their future. And then they wonder why nothing changes. They wonder why they're stuck. They wonder why success seems to come so easily to other people. It's not that other people are lucky, it's that other people made different choices. They chose to use their time differently. They chose to become disciplined when everyone else stayed comfortable, and it all started with one decision, the decision to wake up. The 5 a.m. rule is that decision. It's the line in the sand. It's the moment you say enough. Enough waiting, enough wishing, enough watching everyone else live the life you want. It's time to build your own. It's time to become the author of your own story instead of a character in someone else's. It's time to stop asking for permission and start taking ownership. Because nobody is coming to save you. Nobody is going to hand you the life you want. You have to go out there and create it. And it starts tomorrow morning at 5 a.m. Now, before we finish, I promised you something powerful. I promised you a truth that ties everything together. So here it is. The 5 a.m. rule isn't really about waking up early. It's about waking up to yourself. It's about realizing that you've been asleep to your potential, asleep to your purpose, asleep to the greatness that's been inside you all along. The millionaires didn't build their wealth in those morning hours. They built their belief. They built their discipline. They built their identity. And once they became the person capable of success, the success had no choice but to follow. That's the real secret. That's what nobody tells you. You don't wake up at 5 a.m. to become a millionaire. You wake up at 5 a.m. to become the person a millionaire needs to be. And once you become that person, the money, the success, the opportunities, they're just side effects. They're just the natural result of who you've become. So tomorrow morning, when that alarm goes off, remember this. You're not just waking up early. You're waking up to your destiny. You're waking up to the life that's been waiting for you. You're waking up to the person you were always meant to be. And every morning you show up. Every morning you choose yourself. You're one step closer to the life everyone else dreams about but never achieves. That's the power of 5 a.m. That's the rule that built Millionaires. And now it's yours. If this message hit you, if something inside you shifted while watching this, I need you to do 3 things right now. First, smash that like button. Let me know this resonated with you. Second, subscribe to this channel because I'm going to keep bringing you the truth, the real strategies, the mindset shifts that actually create change. And third, drop a comment telling me what time you're setting your alarm for. Tell me what you're going to build in those morning hours. Tell me who you're going to become, because when you declare it, when you put it out there, you're making it real. You're making it inevitable. And I want to see you win. I want to see you become everything you're capable of becoming. So don't miss the next video. Don't miss the next piece of the puzzle. Stay connected, stay committed, and I'll see you at 5 a.m.